Hello and welcome back to the channel. Okay, sorry, I've been a bit delayed in getting some content out. I've been playing Conan Exiles. There's been a lot of raiding and stuff going on, so I've been really engrossed in that. So I've not had a chance to get away from Conan and get catch the forum website, which also highlights what I was saying. I'll just use this as an example for now. Yeah, so it sold 663,000 digital copies across PS4, PS5. Now, before you say, oh, it's only digital, digital makes up for the majority of sales now on consoles. Digital is the way forward. Everyone's moving away from physical. Digital sales make up 80% of gaming sales. Okay, so 80%. So you could probably just round it up to about 1 million. It sold 1 million across those two consoles. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what was reported recently, and then in my version, I think it was about 800,000 sales in December. That's what I reported in my video a while back. But the people here say, apparently, I can't say I'm shocked by this really, despite I'm a Marvel fanboy. Spider-Man Miles Morales was overpriced, largely marketed for the PS5, and basically a standalone expansion, not a true sequel, and they're not paying the amount of cost. People said I'm waiting for get PS5, but basically people were disgruntled by the misinformation about the game, claiming to be a PS5 exclusive when it's not. It's just been an expansion, not a full game, and it being overpriced, which is all what I covered in my video. So basically, yeah, the sales were an issue with the game. Now, let's fast forward to now, and Sony claim Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales sold 4.1 million units in 2020. Now, they're saying it sold 4.1 million units. And I've had a lot of Sony fanboys throw this at me. I have issues with this, of course, because I don't believe this, to be honest, totally. Spider-Man Miles Morales sold through 4.1 million units as of December 31st. Now, in my previous video, by December 31st, it was saying sources were claiming it only sold 800,000, but they're claiming 4.1 million across those two consoles. Now, what I'm finding hard to believe, now I think there's three options here that I think is going on. One, Sony just blatantly lying, just exaggerating the sales, which they've done in the past, which they have a history of lying and exaggerating stuff, but nobody calls them out for it. So that's either the first option, that they're lying. Second option is these are bundled. These are copies of the game that are bundled with the PS5s and PS4s. However, the issue with that is that these consoles are being scalped, so players are not actually getting these. So even if it sells 4.1 million, majority of those won't be going to players, they'll be going to scalpers, and they'll be sitting on shelves somewhere. So while you can claim the game sold 4.1 million, it's not really. It's a bundled version of the game, and the game is actually sitting on a shelf right now, waiting to be bought by a player for $1,000. Finally, I still think 4.1 million is stretching it a bit across 2 generations. That's not really much across, over 3 months. 4.1 million across 130 million units sold, I imagine, PS4 and PS5 is not that great. But anyway, I want to move on for this bloody adverts. I just can't escape them now. But the thing that makes me more sort of refer to this as possibly made up and a lie is this. Now, if you look at game stats, now this takes everyone's PSN accounts, so it's just taken straight from the PlayStation PSN, so it knows who's playing the game. So total player count is 830,000 as of November, end of November. So that's more in line with the original estimate that it's selling about 800,000 digital, but then you're not counting for physical copies. So let's say we're going to round up to 1 million. Yeah. So because it's back in November, that number rings more true. So then how does that relate to Sony claiming it sold 4.1 million by the end of December, when there's only pretty much near the end of November, only less than 1 million have even played it? So this either rings true that either one, Sony are lying, or two, it corroborates my theory that a lot of these are scalped versions of the game and they're sitting on shelves and not being played. So to boast that it's sold this many copies is sort of false promoting, I think, because that doesn't mean 4.1 million people playing the game. It means it's probably about, if you round it up, as I said before, it's probably about 1 million people have played the game now. Because the archive, no future updates, they've not updated it since. So that means possibly it's had a massive decline and no one's played it since. So it's an interesting stat you can bring up. It tells you everything about thingy games, PlayStation games, who's playing them, what's playing them, and it gives you a more accurate figure because it directly uses PSN accounts. And this is just PS4, so the PS5, as I said, not many PS5s have actually been sold to players. So rather, don't compare them with scout versions, player versions. I don't mention there's many. So I reckon this is much more accurate. I reckon total players and total sales is more still around the million mark, maybe over, maybe 1.5 million. 4.1 million, I think, is either a lie or exaggerated because it's based on scalpers' copies of the game, which are sitting on shelves, as I said. So yeah, a lot of fanboys sort of promoting that, but I think it's false promotion, false advertising, and a red herring, really, to the actual facts, which Sony will know which are the actual facts because they will know via profit. Though they won't be feeling the profit because they're making profit because they're selling their consoles to scalpers. So they're sort of, in a way, they don't care, really, if you buy their console for £1,000 because they've already sold it for £500 to a scalper. So at the end of the day, Sony don't really care about scalpers buying their consoles, and it's also boosting, in brackets, their Spider-Man Miles Morales sales unintentionally because they're being bundled with the PS5 and PS4s. Yes, so to the point of this is yes, don't always automatically read and believe into a headline that you see. It's best to look into stuff like this and sort of look more into the facts. And I'm going to go more with this because this is based on PSN accounts and PSN thingies. I mean, let's just say this is November. Let's just say there's no way it's sold another 3.5 million since November. There's not. Let's be honest with ourselves. So I reckon it probably, if this was to be updated, it'd probably be 1.5 million people have played it now. But 4.1 million, no. Let me know what you think about this below. Let's move on to the next topic, which sort of kind of supports what I'm saying. So yes, scalpers. This moving on to scalpers, which strongly supports my points. A significant number of PS5 consoles have been scalped, with scalpers making big profits. So I can't remember the people now who've done this. Driscoll, Michael Driscoll. Yes, so he come out and says, all these. Well, firstly, I've done a video on it previously. Stats showed far more PS5s are being scalped than Xbox Series X's. Fanboys would say, oh, it's because more people want PS5s than Xbox Series X. That's why. No, it's not. It's because the bots pick up PS5 easier. The coding for it is easier to pick up than Xbox Series X because at first the bots were buying Xbox X's over Xbox Series X's, and Xbox X sales shot up dramatically because the bots were buying them. So because they couldn't tell the difference between Xbox X and Xbox Series X, whereas PS5, you just you tell a bot to buy PS5, and that is it. Bosh, and it buys them all. So that's why there is a significant more PS5s being scalped. In addition, I think Sony also lied about their production. Bloomberg come out a while back saying Sony is short on production, has a limit to its production sales, doesn't have many consoles to sell. Sony fired back saying, oh, don't believe them, we do. But I think that's absolute nonsense. I think Sony were just lying, basically. I think Bloomberg are correct, and they didn't have many units to sell in the first place. And the ones they do have, the majority of them are being snapped by scalpers. So yeah. So what these people did is I think IGN posted it, that scalpers have made 43 million from PS5 sales so far. 43 million. So you just imagine, that's a lot of money just off the back. So they must be sitting there. I mean, they have been reported to be selling for like £2,000, some of them, or $2,000, which is ridiculous. People are morons that are going to buy scalped consoles. How much of a corporate fanboy do you have to be to spend so much money on a next-gen console, which is just basically it's not worth it, especially at this stage. There's no games for it, and it's just not worth it. So how desperately weird are you to do such a thing? But yeah, but they confirm basically PS5s. As it says, a significant number of PS5s have been scalped in the US alone, 10 to 15%, which I estimate is probably higher than that in the US alone. But they go into more detail. Being sold on yeah, so they go into all the details of it. Check out that site. But it just, as I said, I'm only really posting this because it strongly supports my point that PS5 consoles are massively scalped, which exaggerating numbers and stuff. And this is why Sony have not officially come out and done a sales boast yet, which they've done every month. Last generation, they would continuously boast how many consoles they've sold. What's the MPD would also do the same, but they've all been silent because it's exaggerated figures at the end of the day. You don't know what ones. Sure, they're selling consoles, but players are not getting them. The fans are not getting them, and I think that's the issue there. And I think to highlight sales of games and consoles is just stupid, considering your players are not getting them. I think it's just morally wrong, really. You shouldn't be promoting scalper sales, really. So yeah, so check out that site. Check out what Michael Driscoll has to say about it. I can't bother going into it right now because I'm sort of getting bored of the whole thing, to be honest. I want to move on to the next bit of news. And the next bit of news is this. I basically reported this a while back as well, that the MLB The Show is going to the Xbox. People didn't believe it, but there it is. It's going to the Xbox. A PlayStation first-party title is going to the Xbox. So there we go. Xbox games are right. They said this would be coming, and you all denied it, and here is the fact of it now. And the PS fanboys are raging all over Twitter. Let's take a look, shall we? So yes, looking at these tweets, there's a lot of people upset. They're not all of them. Some people don't care. Some people are quite happy for. Probably a lot of these people did at first were the ones that are saying these games won't go to Xbox. We don't believe in games being multiplat. But now Sony are on side. You'll find a lot of people then sort of switching sides and going, actually, no, we're for it now because Sony have told them that that's how their brain should think. So you will get people flip-flopping or sort of jumping on the bandwagon. But then you get the people that honestly, like myself, think that games should be multiplat anyway. We should have the choice of that. But then you get the people that think games should be exclusive and really are corporate slaves to their corporations. They just believe that their games should only be on their console and only they should play them. Me, and they're the big crybabies that we all like to make videos about and laugh at. So yeah, as I said, not everyone is negative about it, but the ones that are quite amusing and funny just to read. This guy says, mate, can you just allow people to play on whatever platform they want? Not everyone has a made for a gaming PC. I own a PC and PS5, but I don't bitch about PC Master Race. And then he continues. But yeah, let's look at some of these other comments. That's a nice little picture there. Someone said make a cricket game. I don't know what that is. Even MLB is going to PC. It's going to everywhere. But yeah, as I said, some of them are positive, but it's the really nasty negative ones like, oh, sell the. You might as well just get rid of the console now. Just don't have consoles anymore. There's not as exclusives now. And some people are really, really going to town on this and really having a breakdown. I do love to see the tears. I mean, put a like. Give me a like if you like to see Sony fanboy tears, because it does seem to be them that really get in their feelings about this kind of thing more than anyone else. I mean, some people are just really upset, and then you've got the ones that are trolling them, which is funny. I'm creating these memes and stuff. Memes. But yes, end of the day, it's Sony want to make money. What are you going to do? Too bad Xbox gamers don't buy games. That's a comedy. So yeah, should we continue with this? I think we should just let's finish that there. So So that's basically that in a nutshell, isn't it, really? Yes, I knew it'd happen. I predicted it would happen. Many people said it would be happening, but many didn't believe it and said it was anti-consumer, or at least it hurt their feelings deep inside. The games will be going from PlayStation to Xbox. It hurt them in the feels, and many of them are feeling it hard because the reality is PlayStation want to make money, regardless what your feelings are, and regardless that you want exclusives. Sony and PlayStation want to make money, and they want to be in competition with Xbox that are just dropping games, making games, buying studios. Sony want a piece of that. They want to keep up. They want to keep up with the big boys, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And the only way they can do that is making some of their games multi-plat and making money. Because at the end of the day, as we've been saying, especially me, it's been saying for years, exclusives make less money than multiplats, and when you've got a game that's going to be multiplat, it will make you more money. Especially at the beginning of a generation when not many consoles are being sold, when the majority of consoles are being bought on by scalpers and they're sitting on shelves, and you're not selling much software, so you're going to put them on other hardware, be it cross-generation, so previous gen consoles, or if it's going to be on other hardware altogether, like PC or Xbox or Switch or whatever. At the end of the day, this is pro-consumer. Well done, Sony, for finally catching up with the rest of the world. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe, share, press the bell thing, do all the things you need to do. I want to get my channel to 1,000 by the end of the year. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.